It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw. Before we get started, we want to help you save some money.
That's right, folks. Don't forget to use our promo codes to save that money. And let's start off with buckbaits.com. That's right, the brick and mortar store of Buck Baits down at Sterling Heights, Michigan at 15 and Dodge Park. Go over there. If you're on the website, buckbaits.com, use the promo code UNJ20. That will get you 20% off your order.
For those of you who are looking for Easy Cut products, make sure you go to easycutproducts.com. And when you're there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ15 off to save 15% off your order.
And let's not forget Lincoln Roan over at packermax.com. It's never too early, never too late to think about the Packer Max. Go on over to packermax.com, use the promo code UNJ25. That'll get you $25 off your order over at Packer Max Outdoor.
For those of you looking for some new firearms and firearm products, make sure you go over to theislandarmory.com. While you're there shopping, use the promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order there.
If you shot that bird of a lifetime and you want it mounted, don't forget Troublesome Creek Taxidermy. We've had them live on the show. We've talked to them. You want to get 10% off your order, go to Facebook, go to troublesome.creek.7, find their website. If you go to our website, UNJ, make sure to click on the button to download the form. You get 10% off over there using the code UNJ10.
Looking for that game call, whether it be a squirrel, whether it be goose, duck, deer, make sure you go to JPO Game Calls. Look for them at jpogamecalls.com, and while you're there shopping, use the UNJ10 promo code to save 10% off your order.
And Miller Deer Tracking, the man that seems to never sleep during deer season. Get 20% off your next deer tracking using the promo code UNJ20. Look for Miller Deer Tracking on Facebook or give him a call over at 810-240-4891.
Looking for the hottest new plastics to take on the water, whether it be hard water or soft water? Make sure you go over to southernindianabaitco.com. While there, use the UNJ promo code UNJ10 to save 10% off your order.
Deer Camp Coffee, folks. We drink it every night on the show. You want to try it? You can go to the brick and mortar store at 15 in Dodge Park at Deer Camp itself, or go to deercampcoffee.com. Also use our promo code UNJ10. You get 10% off your order. And don't forget, get a bag of the UNJ medium roast blend there as well.
All right, Danny, where's our live view camera to look from tonight?
Hey everybody, Dan DeFaw back live on a Wednesday night, and tonight we're going way up to Lake Superior to Chuckamung. I'm going to blow this name up, Chuckamung Bay in Lake Superior. It was, I knew I was going to just admit it, and it doesn't look too bad. It's a little warm. It's we got some soft water out there. No, it doesn't look like there's too many people out on the bay right now.
I hope it looks like that when I'm up there the first week of October.
I'm pretty sure that's a no.
I'll probably be up there ice fishing.
I was just about to say, if over to the right where you see green, will probably be white color.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. It won't be white yet, but. Soon after that, when you are up there in October, which I hope there isn't any ice for you, that will become hard water.
Yeah, it will. Won't be long, I tell you what. It's getting here closer. And actually, that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight. And, it's just one of those things that when, we've been doing this with the Daily Press up in Escanaba. And tonight we have another vendor that's going to be on the show. But before we go there, let me just quickly click away here and
you got some news, don't you?
Yeah, a big, huge. Let's see, is this going to get me into what I want?
I don't know, but you're up live with it right now.
So anyways,
there you go.
Right here. Congratulations to Deer Camp for the second year in the row at WDIV here in Detroit, voted first place winner Deer Camp Coffee, and they were live today on their daily show. Yeah. So there you have it. Julie and company were down there doing a live shot and have won first place second year in a row.
Nice.
Congratulations to them.
And thanks to Deer Camp Coffee, who's one of our supporters here at Up North Journal. So It's always good to have one of our supporters win something, a big award.
Absolutely. So
welcome back to another week of Up North Journal, everybody. So it's warm in the cabin tonight.
It is warm in the cabin, but we're going to talk about a cool subject.
That's what I've heard. I see where you're going with this.
You see where I'm going with that?
I do.
Like we've talked about with the Daily Press, having vendors on that are going to be at the show this November up there. And this week we have a Muskie specialist who's going to dabble in something else, but we're going to announce that later on the show.
Okay.
So why don't we zip over to Illinois?
All the way down to Illinois with Gregg Gerke. Gregg, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, guys. Great to be with you.
We struggled a little bit at the beginning to get everything tied together. We got you on, and we made the connection, so we're going to have some fun tonight. So just sit back, and it's just like sitting around a campfire or sitting around an ice fishing hole, and we're just going to sit and talk and have some fun tonight. So,
and for everybody that's out there, if we were watching us live on the show, he has a Facebook page, so you can check it out in between or duplicate the tab. You can go look at it. But Gregg, how do you get into something such as this magnitude of making the wire leaders or tungsten jigs, or what got you to that point where you says, I'm going to do this?
Well, the Muskie baits, I've been involved with a couple of guys that built baits over in West Virginia, and they still buy a lot of the baits that I sell from over there. In fact, one of the bait lines, Hughes River, has turned out to be more of even a collectible lure than it is used for fishing as much.
Really?
Some of the Hughes River lures go for a couple $100, and there are some guys that are fishing with them, but most of the guys are keeping them, hanging them up for collectible.
Wait a second. You're telling me a lure for muskie, right? Is this specifically for muskie?
Wait, are you on the web page right now?
On your web page?
Yeah.
Okay, I am there now.
Click on Hughes River.
Oh, there we go, Hughes River. So you're
Click
telling...
on the first.
Okay.
Click on the first box.
The Hughes River Baits Custom Lures, one of a kind.
Yep.
So prototype. Okay.
Click on that box.
Whoa! Hey, whoa! $223. Wow.
Keep going down.
$293.
So
There you go.
These are all one-offs.
For the most part, those are one-offs. They do make a lot of baits. So, and again, it was something where when he came to market with those baits, there was really a big stir about them. And I mean, I tell you what, because of the collectible aspect of the lures, I've bought and sold some of the same lures 2 or 3 different times.
Really? Wow. $323. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would want to fish with one of those. I would put it on the wall or in a shadow box on the wall or something as well.
That's what a lot of guys are doing.
I understand where he just came from saying, yeah, a lot of people buy them and they never touch water.
Yeah, all of a sudden you put that out there and you hook into one, all of a sudden the line goes slack.
Right, and watching it swim away. So now back to your story. How do you, did you, from a kid, have you been fishing a long time, or you just pick it up, or how did you personally get into fishing?
Well, my folks used to take us up north of Rhinelander since I was like 3 or 4 years old. So it's been about 65. Yeah, well, over 60 years anyway.
Okay.
And in fact, the biggest fish I caught was in Rhinelander, and it was on Lake Thompson, and it was 46 3/4, about 30 pounds. And unfortunately, I don't get much of a chance to fish anymore since I got involved with selling baits and that. What I thought was going to really boost my fishing adventures is really slowing it down, but that's going to change in the next couple of years here.
Isn't that the way it works? You get into something you love, and it starts as maybe a hobby, and all of a sudden you get into it, and you go, I want to make some money at it, and I'm going to fish a lot, or I'm going to hunt a lot, or whatever it is a lot, and all of a sudden you're working more than you anticipated. But that's not a bad thing either, though. That means it's what you're doing is good and it's successful. So.
We'll get around to it.
Yeah, right? So how did you become GT Rod and Reel But then now,
Well,
go ahead.
when I first started selling products, I was selling rods and reels. I was buying them off of a company over in Iowa and selling them, shipping Abu Garcia reels all over the world.
Okay.
And that kind of fizzled out at some point. And I'd always wanted to get in them, and I always owned a lot of muskie baits myself. So I stupidly wanted to get into it, and I went over to West Virginia. I met a lot of the bait builders over there because a lot of the glide bait builders are over in that area. And so I just went out there, introduced myself, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a guy named Jack Cobb, but he was the guy that kind of originated the glide baits really well over in that area, and a lot of the baits that were copied off of him. In fact, the Hughes River bait is really just an upgraded cod bait for the most part. The Hughes River baits are just phenomenal as far as how well they work, how well they glide. But Jack Cobb, he was the originator of them, and I was fortunate to deal with him the last few years of his life as far as buying and selling his lures. So that's how I got involved with the muskie end of selling the products.
You said that there's a lot of the guys that work in that area. They're all kind of in the same area of the United States. Why is it that they come out of one particular area and maybe not up here more on the Great Lakes?
Well, you know what? They're up around the Great Lakes, too. In fact, the past 10 years, the amount of guys that are building high-quality lures out there is just phenomenal. I've often said that if there wasn't another muskie lure built for the next 30 years, there'd be no shortage of them. Okay. There are so many guys out there building, and the quality of the baits that these guys are building, just phenomenal. But you pay for it, though, too.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that a bait would have run up into the hundreds of dollars. Obviously, like you said, they're one-offs.
Now, there's guys, though, that, I do 2, 3, 4 of the muskie shows over the winter time. And there's guys out there right now, brand new lures that they're selling for use, and they're selling them anywhere from $150 to a couple $100. So, if you haven't been to a muskie show, you should just check it out for the the information of all the lures that are out there and what the costs are. And they, with the prices going up, all of this stuff has gone up in price to follow.
Yeah, well. We've noticed that kind of, I think, with everything in the last 4 or 5 years, especially since COVID came and went. Everything has just a turn to the top and costing extremely big amounts of money. So, you went over there and you talked with them and kind of got to know the lay of the land and about the bait industry and how to do this. Where did it go from there for you?
Well, from there. I'd already had the website going for hardware. I don't know if you noticed, if you've been on my website, but there's hardware on there also. There's boxes for GT rod and reel, and there's boxes for hardware. So anyway, about 20 years ago, I got started with the website because I was kind of worried about where the economy was going, and with what I was doing then at the time, selling millwork, I was just worried that the business was going to run low, and in fact it did. And as I got involved with the lures and that, since I already had the site, I just went ahead and started plopping fishing products on the site, and it's worked out well because with all of with any business, with all businesses, you're going to find peaks and valleys, and if you're selling stuff that's over a wider variety, you're going to tend to fill some of those voids just simply because. The seasonal aspect of the lures, like take for instance the muskie and the ice fishing. The ice fishing jigs are wintertime products. The muskie fishing is summertime products. So it kind of works out real well with having the ebbs and flows of one aspect of it not selling particularly well to the other aspect of it, the products that are selling well.
Well, you speak about 20 years ago, you kind of got into this, and you were working with a website. And I'm thinking 20 years ago, that's 2004.
Yep.
And the internet at that time, was just really kicking off. I mean, I want to say like the late 90s, early 2000s. So
it was incredible.
Yes.
Because, I mean, when I was selling hardware back then, I'd have 2 or 3 competitors on the website or on the internet. And now, there's 30 or 40 of them. So I've had to specialize more to, separate myself from my competitors.
What an exciting time to get into business and something and do it via the internet and being able to, do commerce worldwide, number one, and ship things all over. But you said something else that was really interesting, too, that made me think about this seasonality of it. We did some work with Cabela's, and we noticed when they were ordering and getting things in, especially for ice fishing here in the Saginaw Bay area, if you weren't in the store when that product hit the shelves, you weren't going to get gear for the season because it sold out so quick. And I said, well, why can't you just restock? And they said, you don't understand. It comes over from, the slow boat from China. We have to order, 8, 10, 16 weeks out to get it here in time to get it for season. There's no time to get more of it in and stock the shelves. By that time, the season's over with. So you're filling something where people can readily get available, really just about any time. Is that right?
Well, yeah, and what you said is really true from the standpoint of, especially like the ice fishing jigs. A lot of that stuff comes over from China, and so what we've done is we've decided that we're going to have ice fishing product in stock year round, because unfortunately people don't use them year round, and they really should be, because they're just as effective, if not more effective, using them in the summertime. We want to keep them just so that everything that we have on the website as far as the ice fishing jigs go in the tungsten, if we have it up for sale, it's in stock.
Okay.
And right now you've got 127 products in stock. And it says right here on your website that tungsten jigs are free shipping to the United States.
Yep.
And we're starting to get some questions rolling in now. And one of the questions is, now you've gotten out of the rod and reel part of it, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
So you're now just making lures. So the first question, out of those, what is your number one seller?
What is my number one seller? I don't think I have one.
What? You don't got a favorite go-to?
If you want to, I'll tell you, the one thing that sells the best as far as the ice fishing jigs go are the ones that have the Wonder Bread paint job on them. For whatever reason, everybody likes the Wonder Bread. They all say it's something that connects with the fish. I don't believe it, but as long as that makes them happy, that's fine with me.
Whatever it takes.
And whatever it takes to get the fish to bite, right? Whether it be, like you just said, the Wonder Bread, or pick a name that you just picked out and you go with that. But so it sounds like we'll go with the Wonder Bread as the number one leader for you. So with that being said, this will be your second time this coming November, 3, 4, and 5, coming up to the UP Ice Fishing Show. And kind of give us a little perspective of last year, the first time. We're going to be up there as well with you, so we're going to meet you in person when we're there. Give us a perspective of how that show went for the first time.
Well, I thought it went very well. I mean, there could have been more people there, but I mean, with the first show, I mean, you're going to expect that. But the people who were there were definitely consumers, and that was a great thing to see. The facility was really nice. All the people were great. Working, getting in and out of there as far as setting up the booth and all of that goes. Everything went very smoothly.
And Sarah, she got a hold of us. So we've been talking about this now for several months in a row. And with that being said, this year, hoping to be even bigger and better. It's going to be the biggest UP Ice Fishing and Hunting Expo. So people, if you're going to be in the area of Escanaba, November 3, 4, and 5, Friday starting at 3 o'clock, you can get in the doors, and Saturday and Sunday till 3 o'clock. So there'll be going to be 3 days, and we have the poster up right now, and right there in the lower left-hand corner, you see GT Rod and Reel. They're going to be there. So coming out of that show, what was your best seller for that show that day, that weekend?
It was the tungsten ice fishing jigs. again, I can't necessarily pin a color on it, but it was definitely when I go to the shows in the wintertime, the tungsten ice jigs, they sell.
It doesn't matter. Like I'm looking at your website right now. You've got teardrops. You've got some with like you call them the tiger feather. Is there one? Is it basically people are looking for a color, a size, a shape, or what are they looking for in that?
Yeah, they're typically looking for a size. The 500 series that I have on the website, if you look at it, has the most variety of colors with the in the same size.
Now, what does that mean? 500 series? Is that just your number, or does it have a?
Yeah, that's my number. It's a way I can describe it so that you can look at it easy enough. The 500 series is the first one up, and then if you look at that, there's 43 products. So that particular one, 4 millimeter with the 1.1 gram, the number 4 hook. There's 43 different colors of that one size jig.
And you're going to have a variety of these up on your booth for the show.
I'll have them all at the booth at the show.
There you go. So people can peruse the website beforehand, maybe make a little wish list, come to the show, pick them out right off the table.
Well,
and then we're going to have some specials for the show too. So when it gets a couple of weeks away, I'll let you guys know what they're going to be, so you can really pound that home for getting some people out.
There you go. Well, there's something you said just a little while back about ice fishing jigs, but people ought to be using these during the other seasons as well. Let's go back to that for just a quick second. We've all got this stuff stuck in our heads. It's seasonal. We got to have certain lures and jigs for the early season or the late season, and then or depending on what we're fishing for, and then we got the ice season. We get stuck with that, but kind of go back into that, using these for other things besides ice fishing.
Well, especially if you're a crappie fisherman or a panfish fisherman, and you're not using. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but all the tungsten jigs we sell, they all glow.
Okay.
So if you're out fishing in the summertime and you're using one of these tungsten jigs, it's naturally getting charged by the sunlight.
Right.
You drop that thing 20 feet down into a crib or something like that, you're gonna pound the crappies, and that's why I say, there's probably not a more effective jig in fishing in the summertime than these tungsten ice fishing jigs.
Okay.
And I could almost take the jig, this part of the site, double it, and call it something else, and hoping that maybe somebody would come to it from that standpoint. But yeah, it's just crazy that people don't use these jigs. I sell these jigs, and for 4 to 5 months, probably more closer to 4 months out of the year, they sell like crazy. But come March 1st, bam, their sales stop like that. And that's one of the things I was telling you about earlier, as far as having seasonal aspects of the fishing industry and being open to them, so that you have something where you're going gangbusters, and then a month goes by and you don't have any sales anymore.
And we're looking at the website right now. I'm looking at the tungsten teardrop panfish and ice jigs, and I noticed I think you sell them in 6 each. You've got them in different colors. Matter of fact,
mostly 4 packs.
Okay, 4 packs. I found Mike's here. It's the number 32 clown. I think he needs. That's a good one.
Clowns? Yeah, I catch you on real quick.
No. Mine's right below here. It's called the Fireball.
Yeah. I wonder why.
Right. So like you said, why not? Like you said, with these glowing. So let me ask you, how would I fish with this jig in the summer? Let me pick your brain.
The best way would be to get over some cribs where you know that there's going to be fish. I don't know.
Would I tip it with something?
Pardon me?
Would I tip it with something?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Like what?
You could do it with a small minnow, waxworm, a piece of a worm or anything like that would work well. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Because I'm picking your brain, because Adam and I have been out on the kayaks fishing, and I might try this. So I'm picking your brain here.
Adam, right now, he's just talking. He says that he uses ice jigs for crappies up on the Manistee all the time and catches them. So obviously, he's holding back from when you guys are out there fishing together. He's not giving you the lowdown.
Probably.
He's keeping his secrets close to the vest.
Yeah, well, keep that life vest on, buddy. But big shout out, like we talked about, Deer Camp has joined in the chat room. Congratulations, Deer Camp. So I'm going over your website here. I'm picking. So we've got so your 500 series, 800 series, 900 series is not. Are we getting bigger as we talk in numbers?
Bigger and smaller.
Okay.
The 500 series is kind of like the sweet spot, but the 100 series is about half the weight, and there are some guys that just can't get a small enough jig. And so we've got about 8 different colors in the 100 series. And then, yes, the 800 series, I want to say that those are like 1.6 or something like that grams. And you can see the feathered ones next to those. Those are 1.85 grams. And that's about as big as it's going to get in an ice fishing jig like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, once you get behind that, you typical like, walleye jig. Can you guys see that at all?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. And there's your Wonder Bread pattern there too.
Well, I tell you what, you just said something there about walleye. Why don't you go and explain to the people? We talked about this in our little pre-show. Not just talking muskie, but you're expanding, and you said you started this last year at the show, going after into the walleye segment.
Well, the walleye jigs are very similar to the ice fishing jigs in the fact that they're made out of tungsten, which supposedly is going to have some advantages other than the fact that it's heavier density-wise than lead. But I don't know what you guys hear up there on your own, but there's a couple of people I talked to in Wisconsin where they're talking about some of the lakes at some point becoming lead-free. And I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. But if it does happen, tungsten will be there to replace it. Although I'm not so sure that it's not just as bad a carcinogenic or whatever the word is as lead is. But right now, the people that are talking about replacing lead in some of the northern Wisconsin lakes are talking about tungsten being their replacement. So
there's a whole tungsten movement, you could say, going on with that.
Absolutely.
And now they're not on the website yet, but you're hoping to have them up within the next week on the website for your walleye jigs.
Yeah, I'm right now they're all packaged and ready to go. So right now I'm in the middle of taking the pictures and everything for getting them up on the website. That's really time consuming, but if you go on the website, you'll notice, especially like if you look at the muskie lures. We like to take lots of pictures because a lot of times if you see a muskie lure from the side and you roll it over, to its back, it looks completely different as far as the pay pattern goes. And so we try to, especially like I know when you were looking at those Hughes River lures earlier.
Yep.
If you open up one of those boxes let me just go. Okay, you open up one of the boxes, and then you click on the single. If you go down below the lure, there's an explosion of 5 different aspects of the bait, and it really gives you I know you guys are all used to looking at little tiny phones, but these pictures show up really well on a phone, and you'd be amazed at what they look like on the computers.
We have it up on the screen right now as you're talking about it, and it looks like you've got the 5 different one side, opposite side, top, bottom. You give a full aspect of what that lure looks like all the way around it.
For $223, they got to be getting something for it, right?
Right. Yeah, it's never gonna see water or a musky tooth in it. I agree with you there, but that is awesome.
Hey, can you see this? This
yeah, what's that?
This is an H&H lure, and it's in the same family as the Hughes River and the Jack Cobb baits. In fact, the guy that was making these baits was taught by Jack Cobb. And now here's the nice thing is that that's an excellent glider, and that's only $44. So while you wouldn't want to lose that either, it's much more reasonably priced, and that's kind of the sweet spot as far as a custom lure goes too in the marketplace.
Was that the round nose glide bait?
Yep.
All right, I found it on the website. It's in orange. Oh, there it is. We're pulling up some more pictures, and there you go, folks. Get a view of that. It's called the Orange Crush, matter of fact. And I tell you what, at $44,
it better glide good.
It better glide good.
I'm telling you though, guys, it does. As far as the custom baits, it doesn't get much less expensive than that.
Wow,
that is so interesting.
And I complain about losing a carbon shaft arrow when I'm deer hunting, and a broadhead.
At $10, $12,
Whatever
whatever.
costs me about $25-$30.
Right? Oh my Lord. I tell you what, that is just awesome.
Incredible.
Right? It is. What's the size of the smallest jig that you have? That's a question.
The smallest jig
Yeah.
would be the that 100 series in the tungsten. It's half a gram is and the size 16 hook, 30 millimeter.
It's a 3 millimeter. Okay.
It's really tiny.
Yeah, that sound 3 millimeters is really tiny. I tell you, looking at your website and seeing all these different lures that you have, these tungsten is just amazing what you're carrying. It's awesome, and learning about it and learning, you should be using these 365 days a year practically.
Right.
So you don't have to wait till you get that hard water. Oh, it's time to go ice fishing.
Yes, I break out all the ice fishing gear.
Right. You can think about it now and say, let's try this in the summertime, whether it be a Wonder Bread or a clown,
Or
Hey, what's the admission going to be for the show this year? Do you know?
You know what? I think
it's free admission.
it's free.
Yeah.
It's free admission.
This free event is made possible. Yep. It's going to be free admission to go in and check out all the goodies. And you are one of many that are going to be there. And hopefully the DNR will be there as well. I know, matter of fact, I just got a text here a minute ago that says, make sure to tell Gregg hi from Nathan and Sarah. So she's saying hi. You know what? It'd be amazing that. So you said the biggest fish you caught was a muskie. Was that in the summer or was that in the winter?
Oh, that was in the summer. That was in the dead of summer. Probably right around end of July, 1st of August.
Okay. What is your biggest fish through the ice?
Well, probably, just a big crappie. My former partner who's had health reasons and's kind of got out of it was really the ice fisherman in the business. And unfortunately, he can't get out on the ice much anymore. He had some back problems. But he turned me on to it, and, that was only probably about 8 years ago. Okay. And but I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun, doing something different and new. And it's amazing how big ice fishing has become over the last few years, especially with COVID a few years back. I don't know. I guess it just everybody figured that they could go outside and fish because I don't know about where you guys are at, but I know that all the guys that I deal with in Wisconsin and stuff like that just said there was no place for all the people that were coming up there in the middle of the winter.
It was crazy. It literally was almost like a get out of jail free card, right? It was literally the outdoors was that card.
And here's a couple $100 in your pocket to do it.
Right?
Well, we had, when it first hit here, they locked everybody down, and you weren't even allowed to use a motorboat. You couldn't take a boat. If a boat had a motor on it, you could take a kayak, you could take a canoe. But if it had a motor, you weren't allowed to trailer it anywhere. You weren't allowed to be on the lake with it. And that was through that most of that first summer,
Right?
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and you couldn't even garden. Remember?
Yeah, it was crazy.
So
when the ice hit, everybody went nuts.
Right? So Kyle Sharp, one of our longtime listeners, great friend, he says, "Can you imagine pulling up to a tournament blast off with a deck full of rods and ice jigs?" Right? Why not? And then his comment was, "It's a good thing I don't tournament fish because I would faint at the price of some hinged glide baits."
There you go.
I totally agree, but it's like you talked about, whether it's archery, fishing, right? Pick your sport. If you get into it, kayaking, you're gonna pay.
Yeah,
right? And so, but
you got to pay for a quality product.
That's it. You can get in cheap, but to do it right and have fun at it and be successful, no matter what your flavor is, you've got to spend some money and get quality gear.
Right.
Another question is, do you make jig wraps?
Jig wraps?
Yeah.
No, we do not.
Okay, that was a question thrown at for you.
We do have jig wraps. I mean, most of the jig wraps are made in China these days, and we will have a number of them at the show. But long term, we're planning on basically staying with the tungsten because we feel like we kind of found a niche for ourselves in that market, and with what I've been dealing with over there as far as being able to design the colored schemes and that, I've had a lot of good luck with that. So we're just going to continue the tungsten business as long as I can stay, keep the dirt off my head.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
We haven't talked about muskie leaders. Talk a little bit about the muskie leaders that you do have.
Well, we sell the solid wire leaders, which are becoming less used more and more. We sell fluorocarbon. We tie those and crimp those. A lot of guys don't do that. They either tie it or they crimp it, and that's not a good way to go. And then we sell the shark wire leaders, and the shark wire leader has become our strongest sales of that, the 90-pound 12-incher. And we also sell them with what we call the Easy Clip leader. And basically, I guess maybe I should go and grab a leader and show you how it works.
I got it right here on the website, if you can walk us through it.
Yeah, well, anyway, the Easy Clip, hang on, just give me 1 second.
Sure, go right ahead. And that's one of the things, it's interesting. Like Kyle said, if you really sit there and you just sit there, whether it be the beginning of the season, and you look at your tackle box and you look at it and you wonder how much is sitting in there, and all of a sudden you're out, and all of a sudden you get a snag or you get bit off, and you're just like, ugh. But I get it, Kyle. It's like there's a lot of us, especially rods and reels alone.
Oh, I know.
Right?
It's crazy. Yeah. Okay,
so go ahead, explain.
All right, this is a 90-pound shark wire leader with the Easy Clip. And the thing about the shark wire that is so nice is the shark wire is a 49 strand, so it's really flexible. Really flexible.
Wow.
You're never going to damage this product or by kinking it because it won't kink. All right, this product is crimped, and the nice thing about the crimp on the shark wire is that with the nylon coating on it, what you're basically crimping is the plastic coating over the wire. So whenever you do something like put a clip or you tie a knot on there, you're actually lessening the strength of the leader. With this, actually holds its rating. Like, this is 90-pound wire. When we crimp it, it's still 90-pound wire. When you crimp a fluorocarbon or you crimp solid wire that's tied, you're losing about 20 pounds at least out of either one of those leaders because of what you're doing to the leader. So that's the one reason why this particular leader has been selling so well. And the other reason, you give me just 1 second here, is the Easy Clip, and why it's called Easy Clip. Because you put one on there, boom, it's on.
Oh, that's quick.
Right? That was pretty darn quick.
No more busting your thumb on
Yeah.
You literally just
opening up those coast locks.
Did you just like twist
That's
it
all
on?
there is to it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
That's awesome.
Yep. So anyway, we started making those a couple of years into the leaders, and like I said, they've done extremely well. We sell the shark wire leaders probably at a 2-to-1 rate over the fluorocarbon and the solid wire combined. And it's funny too because the shark wire is becoming more popular in the industry, but I mean, 10 years ago, there wasn't anybody making leaders with, they were making them with titanium strands, which was a really crappy line for that, or leader for that, because that was another one where if you crimped it, it tended to mangle the strands, and people had a lot of failures with those wires. But yeah, no, we've done really well with the Easy Clipper, with the shark, especially the Shark Wire brand. We're really proud of it, and I've got catches on it, not personally, but with the guys that I deal with, fish up around 54 and 55 inches. So we feel real confident in the product and everything, and we've had a tremendous success selling it.
It's one of those things that you will have that at the show as well. Some of those.
Yeah, we always have the leaders at the shows.
Okay, cool. Good deal. Well, when we're up there, and we'll probably definitely do some live hits while we're up there, and we're definitely going to visit your table and all. All these things that you have on your website, which anybody out there, if they want to visit the website for GT Rod and Reel, go over to, it's actually gtdoorsandlocks.com, and when you get there, you can see right on the main page. I went too far.
If you type in gtrodandreel.com, you'll get right to the page too.
And then you can check out everything he's got on the website, from shark wire to the tungsten to the lures. And if you want to start collecting some musky lures, there's some there for you. So
bring a little extra cash.
Bring a little extra cash. And
we won't be bringing the musky lures to the show, so you're going to have to buy those on the internet.
There you go. That's perfectly a fine deal, but it's going to be so much fun to meet you and see you up there. Now, is there anything you have? So you talked about walleye. How many jigs are you going to have in that arena? Are you going to have?
We've got 12 colors, and we've got 4 different sizes: 16th, 1/8, 3/16, and quarter ounce. And again, here's the Wonder Bread, and the 4, the last number, I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, 4 is the last number on there. This particular package has 4 different sizes in it. Okay. So, we've got them where they'd be 4 of the same size, 4 of the different sizes, 4 of the different colors, multi-packs. So,
give a little versatility to what people are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it gives them an opportunity to get what they want without having to buy 20 different bags.
Right.
Exactly. And Denny Steiner comment.
I saw that.
I was just thinking, his arrows cost over $45, and a lot of times they get broken on the first animal. I get it.
Well, I mean, that's what I was alluding to. The fact it doesn't matter what your sport is, it's costly, especially if it's something that you lose or you break. I mean,
right? Exactly. And if anybody's looking on Facebook, if you go over to GT Rod and Reel on Facebook, you can find their page right there. Give them a like, give them a share, and then you can also check out and look at some of the pictures he's got there that he's got posted over there. There's one that lady is. You go further down. There's a young lady that is definitely holding a huge fish.
That's a giant.
Right?
That's almost as big as you.
Right?
Maybe bigger.
I'm good with that. It can be bigger than me. So, go ahead.
Approximately how many pieces of gear are you bringing to the show? I mean, do you have a rough idea?
I mean, probably, let's see, what did we say there was as far as different products and that goes.
So your
there's 43 products. There's 20. So there's I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 pieces anyway.
Okay, you're gonna have enough there to definitely be if somebody's looking for something, you're gonna be able to have something there for them.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
We generally, when we do these shows, we try to keep the hooks filled. We do occasionally run out of something at the show, but it's very few and far between.
Okay.
Right, exactly. And when you get closer, like you talked about, when you get closer to November and you're going to have some show specials, reach out to us. We'll get them on one of our shows at just before, so everybody gets an idea of what kind of show special they can come up and check out at the show. Adam Wynn is going to be excited to check out the jigs. He'll be with us. He's on our pro fishing our staff as one of our Up North Journal fishermen. And so he'll be with us, but
bring lots of money, Adam.
Yeah, bring some money, Adam. I know we're looking ahead. We're going to have a big roundup show in October for the event with Sarah. More to come on that, but I think it's going to be really exciting. But I'm looking at the time here, so we're getting down towards the end of the show. And do you want to go into our questions?
It's kind of what I was getting ready to suggest.
All right.
I know you're over here chomping at the bit.
I love the end of the show, especially for a newbie that we interview and getting you on. And we always have some questions for our newbie people we interview. So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, first question is, you're going to be heading up from Illinois all the way to Escanaba for that weekend, and you traveled to some various other shows as well. The question I have is, what are you listening to on the radio?
I don't listen to the radio. I listen to my, what's it called, Spotify? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So what genre of music are you listening to?
I'm listening to old rock and a lot of jazz.
Okay.
There you go, jazz and rock and roll.
Specifically old rock and roll. Got a favorite?
I was a child of the 70s, so, there were so many great bands there. I was lucky. My group of people, the bands in the 70s were just unbelievable. So it's hard to have a favorite, but I love them all. Led Zeppelin, all of them. And it was such a variety of music in those days, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's music after my own heart right there. I love 70s and 80s, so I'm right there with you on that.
Little Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highway
Star.
There you go. So, you're on your way. You're listening to some rock and roll. You're on your way up to Escanaba. You're driving in the car or truck. What would be your go-to snack that you're going to have on your way up there?
Snickers bar.
Man, this is a guy after my own heart right here. I tell you.
Snickers bar. Do you prefer?
It takes care of everything.
It does.
Do you prefer your Snickers warm or cold?
It really doesn't matter to me. I guess in the cold weather, I'd prefer that they weren't cold, but other than that, I really don't care.
Excellent.
Prefer them in my hand.
Right?
Yeah.
Another question we have is, you invite Dan and Mike over for a meal. And you tell us, you guys got to have this meal. This is my go-to meal that I'm going to cook for you. What would that outdoor meal be that you would cook for Mike and Dan?
Ribeye steaks.
I'm in.
We got to stop by the booth when we're up there. Got to listen to some rock and roll, get some Snickers bar, and eat a good dinner.
Right? We'll make sure we'll have a grill somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
But, all right. Now that we have this fabulous ribeye dinner, we're going to sit around, we're going to talk. What would be the story that resonates with you from your childhood? It could have happened 2 hours ago, but a story that you're going to tell Mike and Dan that says, hey, you got to hear this story. And what would that story be?
Well, it all depends on how much I have to drink.
And the statute of limitations run out on the story that's going to be told. Oh, that's good stuff.
Right? See, you that's a good answer, because the stories can
It's on the rail.
The stories get better as the evening goes along.
Yeah.
Right?
We had a night like that about, was that
2 years ago?
A year ago.
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, it was
right?
last year at an archery event. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
all
right.
we
weren't feeling well the next. Well, you guys weren't feeling. well.
I wasn't feeling well the next
Right?
morning.
So
it was a rough day.
but that is awesome. Any more questions from you?
No. I mean, you know more about fishing than I do. I know a little more about the business side of it, but I like to drown worms, and I like to learn too. So I'm always up for a good education on some things, and I've learned a few things tonight.
That's a good question. You just brought that up. When people come to your booth, are they asking? Are people shopping more, or are they looking more for advice? Like, hey, I see this on your table. How would I? And would you gladly show them that?
Well, the ice fishing stuff, I think most of the guys know what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times with the muskie baits and some of the terminal tackle and stuff that we sell, sometimes requires a little bit of explanation in that. But I would say for the most part, the people come to the booths with an idea in mind what they're looking for, right from the get-go.
Okay.
That's awesome. And I hope to see a lot of young people there wanting to learn. I hope the DNR make it out there. I know it's going to be tough. I've talked with the DNR about that, hoping to get them out there. But for anybody else...
Well, I'll tell you, one thing about doing these shows over the years is it's amazing how much you learn at these shows that you would never learn on the water. And, I don't think people realize that until they actually get out there and, talk to some of the vendors and check out the products, and, light bulb goes off, and they can see for themselves why something they think is going to work.
Yeah.
Well, here's the reason. So I'm looking. I have the poster up, and we've interviewed Beaver Lures. We've interviewed HUD. We've interviewed yourself now, and there's other vendors there. How often do you get a place where you get all these vendors together, literally where you could go table to table to table to table, and ask any questions you want about whatever they might be selling, and get a great answer back, and get that information within one show?
Right. Makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
It makes a big difference. It's an impact, especially for people who are just getting into it and trying it for maybe the first, second, third time. And
well, that's an interesting thing, there, because we will have guys every year walk into the booth say, "Hey, I'm just getting started on this. Can you direct me into something where I can get going?" And there's a wide variety of product and stuff like that where you can get people into, and it's not going to cost them a fortune.
Right. It's not going to break the bank. And that's important for a lot of people just starting to get into a sport, whether it be, fishing, hunting, or whatever. We talk about quality things. They've got X amount of dollars to spend, and you want to direct them to quality gear, but not break the bank at the same time. I mean, there's
right.
It's a fine line there to get them into that entry level. Spend just a little bit more to get something that's quality, that's gonna work and not break. So
you with that being said, you walk into hey, I want to start muskie fishing. You say, hey, buy this $200 fishing kit, right?
Yeah.
What's your feedback going to be on that? Right. So
yeah, I would never suggest anything like that.
Oh no, exactly, and that's the point, right? Is getting them just enough to get them hooked.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
See what I did there? And get them back. And there's one thing I know, especially with fishing. You go out, you want to either get bites, you want to get catch something. It's kind of like the hunting thing, right? You want to go out, you want to see what you're after.
You want some success.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So with that being said, speaking of success, in November, we are going to have a great time, November 3, 4, and 5, up at the UP Ice Fishing and Hunting Expo.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Let me check the questions. I think we're all set on questions. And
all right.
We have had another great hour with a vendor for the UP Ice Fishing Show. And just a reminder, everybody, if you want to check out the baits, the tungsten, the shark wire, the tungsten, all the baits we talked about, the lures, make sure you get over to GT Rod and Reel
And those walleye jigs are coming online next week, so definitely take a look at them.
There you go. That's we're more of a muskie type of group. I'm sorry, a walleye type of group. So it'll be. I'll be waiting to see those on the website. So we will be looking for those soon. And I think that's it.
Yeah, that'll do it for us tonight. I tell you, hang on with us for just a second after we get done wrap up, and we'll let you go. We'll chat after the show here, Greg. Next 2 weeks, work dictates my life, dictates everybody's life. The next 2 weeks, I am committed to work, and I will not be able to do a show, so we will be back
The 30th.
The 30th, which is 3 weeks from tonight. I hate to do that, but
it is what it is.
I got to pay for the cabin.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So if we're not busy, maybe I can get Adam. Maybe we'll get on the water,
do a live hit or
do
something.
some live hits from the water. 2 weeks from now, I hope to have on a DNR fisheries biologist.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Sorry. Yes, 3 weeks.
Okay, that's the plan. That's what we're shooting for.
That's what we're shooting for, is to have a DNR fisheries biologist.
Looking forward to that.
I'm excited because I want to, just kind of, I want to know what they kind of do behind. You see the trucks that deliver fish.
Sure.
What are they doing? What are they doing in the wintertime? What are they doing in the summertime?
You got to be doing something. So.
Right. So
we're looking forward to that. Hopefully that'll all pan out. And
then after that, we're into September, and I think I got somebody to come on. We're not going to be able to make it to his place, but I'm going to get him to come on to our place.
Okay. You have to tell me later.
Right?
Surprise.
Right?
Okay.
So,
all right, folks, that's going to do it for us this week. Like I said, it's going to be 3 weeks before we get back on, just due to my work obligations. So just please be patient with us on that. Make sure you go over to GT Ride and Reel over on Facebook and give them a like, follow, and share. And do the same for us on the Up North Journal page. Share the show as well. Hopefully we'll get to see some of y'all up at the show in November. And if so, stop by. We're going to have a booth there, right?
we are. We're going to be there with a booth. Obviously, we're going to be there. We're going to be visiting all the vendors that we've talked to. We're down to one more vendor, which will be actually two. We got August, and then we've got our September, and then October is the big round table we talked about, and that should be really interesting. And then we're into November.
All right. All right, folks. That's going to do it for us this week. Join us back here August 30th. That's a Wednesday night, 7:30. We'll be back, and y'all take care until then. Stay safe.
This episode was brought to you by
Deer Camp Coffee,
Buck Baits,
JPO Game Calls,
The Island Armory,
Hacker Max,
Sunrise Archery,
and C3 Better the Hunt Technology.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.